Hi, welcome to Culture Shock. So the last couple of weeks I've been really focused on the topics of new employee induction and the reinduction of existing employees. Partly, I must say, because I've been running workshops around South Africa, so it's top of mind. But every time I do this, I'm reminded that it's never really far from my mind, because actually I think new employee induction and the reinduction of existing employees gives us the opportunity, the best opportunity of all, to overcome one of the most frustrating observable phenomena in managing people, which is what we call the 18-month rule. See, the 18-month rule very simply goes like this, that within 18 months of being hired or thereabouts, most employees slightly resent you for ever hiring them in the first place, which may sound like a provocative thing to say, but I don't mean it to be that way. To me, it's just one of those things that if we can just sort of be serious and authentic about what we observe, then we can start to do something about it. And to me, that's one of the most observable things of all about the sort of the human experience at work. We'd like to think that people will join us and they will maintain their enthusiasm forever. And in fact, at the hiring time, when they tell us they're going to be enthusiastic forever, I think even they mean it. But 18 months later, most people are kind of just a little bit jaded. And partly it's because familiarity breeds contempt, right? It's no more complex than that. After a while, employees are no longer new around here. They're no longer super excited. It's no longer new. It's no longer different. They're learning a little bit less quickly or a little bit less regularly, perhaps, than they once were, and they're more into a sort of routine. And routines aren't sexy, and they're not exciting, and they're not all that much fun. And so people tend to just kind of settle back a little bit. And what we see as bad behavior start to set in, or as a lack of energy, or as perhaps them even breaking the contract. They said they'd be excited and brilliant and work really hard, but now they're kind of saying, where's my overtime? What we see all of that, and we start to think, well, there's something horribly wrong here. But in fact, all that's wrong is that they're defocused. They've lost the focus on what's sexy and exciting and brilliant about working here. And I'm sure there are actual things, and if there aren't, by the way, those are things you should be working on. But they've lost sight of all of that as they focus on what's just sort of the norm. And new employee induction is the great opportunity to create that narrative right at the beginning. In fact, I created a video just about this, about how all that works. You can see the link in the text down below, so have a look at that. But the reinduction of employees, that's a critical thing here. Reinduction enables you to just revisit this regularly. Companies like Cerebra, based in Johannesburg, they do this every 3 months. They reinduct every 3 months. It's a hell of a thing. But for them, they reckon it's the most important thing that they do. At Botswana Fibre Networks, they have an annual BoffyNet Day where they get all employees together just to hang out together and do some activities and so on, and remind themselves and each other of why this is a great company to work for. That stuff, those sort of opportunities to get together and just reinforce and just remind employees about what the heart and soul of this organization is and why it's good and why it's exciting, besides the daily narrative of the bits and pieces that have to happen, the 1,000 little irritations. That's solid gold. And if you're suffering with the 18-month rule, and if you're like most organizations, you probably are, you can do no better than reinduct employees, create a reinduction program, get people back into the cycle, remind them of why it's great, get them back to thinking about that, and take their minds off the everyday narrative of irritation, which is the only thing they've got to focus on without this. So, like I say, the last couple of weeks I've been really focused on that. The 18-month rule always comes into my head whenever I'm dealing with new employee induction, because it's the most difficult and most irritating thing of all. But it could be so easily overcome if we just got serious about it. We just got to identify it more clearly. So anyway, that's food for thought for me for these last couple of weeks, and I hope it's food for thought for you as well. And I wish you a very pleasant week.